It probably started actually more when I got into looking at a master's degree program. And when I was looking around, I was looking for something that was online. And a lot of my prior experiences to that in online learning were kind of in the late 90s, early 2000s, when it was more just read the textbook and go online and answer some questions type of thing, almost just like a self-paced course type of thing. And I was really surprised when I got into my graduate program how much things had already changed, how much more collaborative it was, how you felt like you were part of a community. And it was just a much more rich learning experience, and kind of opened my eyes that this is not just a kind of a niche anymore. It's more of a more and more studies show this, that there's a lot more going on online with education, and just with the tools that have come about with Web 2.0 and 3.0 and all those sorts of things. The tools that you have available, like Moodle, a lot of districts using Canvas, and even Google Classroom, like we mainly use. I just thought, what an opportunity to use those and leverage those online tools to enhance learning for students, really almost at all ages anymore. A lot of it has been done with the courses through the AEA. I started a couple of courses, and then, as you know, Denise, you kind of mentioned the cohort and offered an opportunity and to go into that, and it worked really well to join the cohort classes where you meet face to face a couple of days, and then get to meet other Iowa educators, as you mentioned, that are trying to do similar things in their districts and trying to bring more online learning into their districts, and blended learning in particular. And so, a lot of it's been through that. Some of the other stuff is just being members of Twitter and Google groups and things like that. You gain so much knowledge from leveraging that social media, all those platforms and emails, listservs, and so on, that you gain so much about what other people are doing, and being able to either apply or tweak things that you're already doing in the classroom from them. It depends a little bit. Each grade level is a little bit different. With my sixth graders, and it's more of an exploratory class. I wouldn't say I necessarily have like specific modules, but it's a little bit more blocked. Like we have 7 weeks, and I kind of divide it into 1 week and 2 week lessons. Really, we use Google Classroom here. One thing that I'm looking more at is maybe leveraging Moodle, but at this point, Google Classroom is our main online LMS, and it's something that I use in all my classes. Some of them, I just use it as a collection piece. But as Google Classroom's getting a little bit more different types of tools in them every year, I begin adding more and more. A nice tie-in to have basically the opportunity to put resources like YouTube, AEA online resources, things that they can go to and kind of add on beyond what I give them for content, because there's so much out there with teaching technology. There's a lot of different ways I look at teaching that, or what my responsibilities are. Digital citizenship and online safety obviously is one thing, but we try and do some coding. So there's all sorts of coding resources I can give them, and give little demo videos. One of the nice things too with some of the courses that we focused on with evaluation and instructional design gave me some really good pointers as far as how I can bring in tools like Khan Academy, YouTube I already mentioned. There's all sorts of coding resources out there, code.org, things that I can give to them beyond what I see when I see them face to face, that they can go on and either refer back to things that I've done with tutorial videos, or go on these more professional or more direct sites and expand their learning and their interests. There are times like we do kind of miniature genius hour types of things, and that's really handy to be able to kind of have them, okay, you're gonna I want you to spend 15 or 20 minutes being able to go to these resources online, and I don't really do any direct instruction, so it really is them going online and seeing kind of what interests them from that 15 minutes, and then moving on to something else for 15 minutes, and so on and so forth. So again, in a face-to-face environment, Could I do that? Yeah, but it's easier, and we are a one-to-one district with Chromebooks, so it makes it a lot easier for them to be able to kind of see things online for themselves, and me just to kind of be there as a guide if they get lost. Expectations wise, I don't know if I had, a specific, this is what I think it's going to look like, or this is what I think it's um, going to be. I think it was more just kind of trial and error a little bit with online learning and what I've done so far. As far as where we're going, or what they're getting out of it, when we went to one-to-one, which was approximately 5 years ago, it was still kind of 7:30 to 3 or 8 to 3:30 school. It was amazing to me how quickly that changed with students. There were always students that would reach out via email once in a while before we had a one-to-one environment. But it's really interesting to me to see how many students really do take advantage of their time and take advantage of being able to reach teachers. And I do put some limitations on it, but not a lot. But if I have an assignment that's due on a Friday night or a Friday, I'll get an email oftentimes at 8, 9 o'clock at night, wondering about this, or having students having trouble with that, being able to reach out to them and help them. And I think it has made, the learning a little bit more 24/7 in a way, which comes with some good and bad. But overall, I'd say it's a very positive experience for students, because, again, without the ability to have those devices and go online and see specifically what they're supposed to do or when something's due. One of the limitations we have with Classroom is, even now with some of the updates, it's still more of you can put information out and you can get some information, but there's still some major limitations to how you can organize that and really kind of formulate it more like what I would say a true class. And I think that's kind of one of my biggest next steps, is to really look at leveraging Moodle, or if the district wants to go a different route or something like that, the ability for students to, go different places, as opposed to Classroom, where it's more just kind of like a stream-based type of thing. We've had some really good things that have happened with Google Classroom, but at the same time, again, some of the limitations there. So I think that's kind of more of my next steps, is really looking at how we can leverage some sort of a full-time LMS and making that even more of an online environment, instead of just kind of a give and take repository like what Google Classroom is. Maybe some advice would be, try not to do it all, focus in on a specific class or a specific unit or assignment first. Otherwise, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and feel like maybe you're failing at it. I think I've experienced that a few times, where I want to take this entire class, like this summer even, I would use as an example. Like, I was thinking of really changing up the curriculum and really trying to get it all online. Even thought about trying to get it all into Moodle this year. And as the summer got going, I realized that wasn't going to happen. I still have a goal to move some of my stuff over to Moodle and get some of that done. And I've done some of that work throughout the courses with my 6th grade, but I think that would be something that, it is a process. It's not something that, you're going to wake up and all of a sudden a week later, everything's going to be online and perfect. And even then, once you have a unit, I know one of the ones that I did for the classes and was one that is a body systems app that I co-teach with a science teacher. And we've tweaked that a little bit every year. We use Softchalk, and I've gone in and continually tweaked that. And even now it still has errors in it that I haven't caught. And I'm continually tweaking it and improving it and making it better. And again, the tweaking, I think, is also one of the big benefits too, is that it is there for you to be able to go in and edit relatively easily, and something doesn't work the first time, instead of going back and having to, scrap everything, or redo worksheets or whatever that are hard copy or what have you. It's a lot easier to go in and edit on the fly, so to speak. So, but I think that would be a big takeaway, is that, when I first got into it, I thought, okay, I'm going in full bore and everything's going to be perfect. And yeah, that's not going to happen.